Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
I'm addicted and expensive. Byron Wilcott. And I'm watching WGS-TV.
What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Welcome to the first WrestleDOWN in quite some time here on WGS-TV. I do greatly apologize for the length of the last show, as it were, because to be rather honest, WWE really hadn't given me much to talk about, to be honest. But ever since Triple H and Stephanie McMahon have basically taken over, WWE is becoming a worthwhile product again, even to the point where now I'm talking about it again here on the channel. But before we do that, I've got a couple of announcements I'd like to get out of the way first, before we get to that. As a Pro Wrestling 225 presents Clash in Columbia 2, live September 17th from the Columbia Expo Center in Columbia, Mississippi. For ticket information on that show, be sure you check out the clash225.eventbrite.com. And also, we have another show coming up with the Louisiana Wrestling Alliance as they present Rumble in the Rice, live October 8th from the Rice Festival Building in Crowley, Louisiana. For ticket information, be sure you check out eventbrite.com. I'll call 337-785-0850. Now, there are a lot of questions going into this show. A lot of things that we're wondering. When will WWE pull the trigger on this subject? When will they do this? When will we see this happen? And to be honest, on this show tonight, a lot of those questions were answered. Now, what exactly those answers were? Well, to answer that, so to speak, let's talk about Clash at the Castle. WWE's first stadium show in the United Kingdom in over 30 years. It even had a couple of references back to what happened with the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, and Bret the Hitman Hart of SummerSlam 1992. I even vividly remember watching that as a 12-year-old little boy and just sitting back there and just watching one hell of a contest for the Intercontinental Championship. I just wanted to bring that up before we get into the opening match here, which was Bianca, Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss taking on Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai, collectively known as Damage Control. And they officially made that announcement about them being called Damage Control basically from their entrance. They came out as a united front. They had new music. There was a new Titantron playing for them. And they all came out at once, and they were just known as Damage Control. So now we have the official name for the group that Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. And from what we saw in this match, there was a lot more teamwork from Damage Control. They did a lot more stuff as a unit. Not so much with Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss. Now, if you guys have known me for the longest time, I am a mark for Asuka. I have been for the longest time. And I don't really care what anybody else says. I just like Asuka. But conversely, I'm also a huge mark for Io Sky, aka Io Shirai. And I really can't, I really can't say which way or another. Who was I supposed to cheer for? Was I supposed to cheer for Asuka? Or was I supposed to cheer for Io? I really don't know. One thing I want to mention here is I love how Michael Cole made a reference to the fact that Io, her sister, man, I wish Ashley was here right now, but he would have her name right off the bat, but I don't. I do apologize about that. Should have done my homework, but anyway. And Asuka were in a faction over a decade ago, and I believe the name was called Three Tails. So a little bit of an interesting background, and I love how that Michael Cole brought that up on commentary to kind of play into the history and the background between Asuka and Io Sky. Again, that's one thing that's also been better a lot in WWE is the commentary. They have been allowed to do a lot more than just tell a story. They've been allowed to do moves. They've been allowed to explain backgrounds, like I said, with Asuka and Io. And overall, it's just been a really great product to watch, as well as this match. Now, the way the finish would go, it was kind of a triple threat, triple team kind of a thing. Dakota Kai hitting a running kick in the corner. Then it would be Bayley with the rose plant on Bianca Belair. And as Belair was prone on the mat, Io would hit the moonsault, and Bayley would pin the Raw Women's Champion as Damage Control picks up the win. Now, what this signifies to me, when I saw this happen, and again, it's just a continuation for what we saw for when Bayley made her return at SummerSlam with both Dakota and Io, is that they're going to be working an angle with these two women for the Raw Women's Championship. And it just further solidified that by Bayley pinning Bianca in this match. Now, speaking of title matches, the Intercontinental Championship was on the line as Gunther took on Sheamus. Now, Sheamus had the Brawling Brutes. Now, you would think at this moment right now that Gunther would be down a guy because the only person he's had at his side ever since he's made the main roster debut is Ludwig Kaiser. However, that would not be the case. The man formerly known as Fabian Eichner, now known as Giovanni Vinci, and I'm sure if the Studman actually was here, he would tell you what that means in Italian. You know, just think about it yourselves. Has made his debut on the main roster, and they have reformed Imperium. And before the match would get started, just like we saw it a couple of weeks ago on Friday Night Smackdown, it'd be just Sheamus and Gunther staring at each other while the Brawling Brutes do battle with, well, at that time it was just Ludwig Kaiser, but now they did battle with both members of Imperium. And essentially it was just a way to take out these guys and basically essentially leave this as a one-on-one contest. Now, this match was as hard-hitting as you could expect it to be with the two men involved in this. I mean, unbelievable shots from both men in this contest. I mean, Sheamus' chest was just lit up like a Christmas tree, and I'm pretty sure that Sheamus took Gunther to the limits that I don't think he's even seen here on the main roster, let alone in NXT. But I will say this, the crowd was into it. I was into it. I thought it was a great Intercontinental title match. Multiple times they would go for their finishers. Gunther went for the powerbomb twice, and he got it on the lower back, but apparently it was not enough to keep Sheamus down. Sheamus would attempt the bro kick, never got it off. He did get the 10 beats of Valorant multiple times, once on the announcer's table and once at ringside across the security railing in the fan. But it was just not enough for the Celtic Warrior to take home the Intercontinental Championship, as the finish of the match was Gunther hitting his really wicked Lariat on Sheamus to pick up the win. Now, so far, with these two opening matches, it's been a fantastic show. It's got a really good ride into it, a really good vibe to it, until the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Now, I'm not really going to say anything to discredit Liv Morgan or Shayna Baszler. Well, yeah, I am going to say something to discredit them. This match could have been done better. We've had two good matches here. We've had Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa versus Damage Control, and a really hard-hitting match with Gunther and Sheamus. What the hell was Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler? It was like, yes to match 1, yes to match 2, no to match 3. I'm sorry, but I cannot get behind this match. You know, They repeatedly made references to what happened with Ronda Rousey attacking Adam Pearce. And the fact that a lot of people are saying, where is the Shayna Baszler from NXT? Where is the Queen of Spades? And we kind of got a glimpse of that in this match because she repeatedly went for the left arm of Liv Morgan, which kind of became a target thanks to Ronda Rousey in their last match. Now, Liv Morgan would attempt to, I guess, in her own way, counter the submission style by going after Shayna's left arm. Basically, we only had two women, both women had basically one good arm to work with. I mean, it came down to one point, Baszler had the Kirifuda clutch locked in, which is her signature, but because her arm was worked over so much, Liv Morgan was able to, pardon me, was able to pry that left arm off of her and get out of the Fuda clutch, the Kirifuda clutch. As the finish of the match was Morgan not only hitting a code breaker of sorts, which knocked Baszler into the ropes, but that set her up in prime position for the Oblivion, and Liv Morgan retains the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, could this match have been done better? Worked better? Yes. Considering the two matches we just came off of, this match kind of felt like it slowed everything down. So I'm a little disappointed, because I know Morgan and Baszler are really good talents. It could have been done a whole hell of a lot better, but it is what it is. That's all I can say about it. Up next, we got Edge and Rey Mysterio taking on the Judgment Day. First off, I'd like to say Edge coming out in a luchador's mask. I thought it was really brilliant. Again, it's almost kind of paying homage to Rey Mysterio and the fact that they were a former tag team over a decade ago. Judgment Day. Ooh, Balor, Priest, Rhea. I don't know what to say. They're trying to be a beacon of hope of a good faction on Monday Night Raw, and they're trying to not make them look like the House of Black. I think the only difference between them, the Judgment Day, and the House of Black is the amount of tattoos the House of Black have. You know, in comparison to Malachi Black and Brody King. However, this match, I think, really picked it up a notch. Again, a lot of great stuff I saw in there. Edge speared a Priest on the outside when he had a hold of Rey Mysterio. I thought that was a really, risky thing for him to do, especially with what he's been through in his career, especially when it comes to the neck problems. So the fact that he pulled that off, I thought was really awesome. Rhea Ripley would once again attack Dominic Mysterio on the outside. Basically, what are they doing with Dominic now? I mean, as of late, the only thing we've seen him do is get his ass kicked by Rhea Ripley. Now, a lot of guys are going there, ooh, I like that to happen to me. I like Rhea Ripley to beat me up. If you guys feel like that, you know what? That's you. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. Because I'm not a masochist. Some people are, and that's their kink, but it's not mine. If you want to know what mine is, well, too bad, you're never going to know. But beyond that, the finish, Dominic Mysterio trips up Finn Balor from the outside as he was trying to do a dive, which then Rey Mysterio knocks into the ropes, hits him with the 619, and then Edge hits the spear as Edge and Rey Mysterio pick up the win. Now, remember what I talked about at the beginning of the review about when WWE was going to pull a trigger on something? They did it tonight. We have been wondering, we have been speculating, because we've seen the hints for weeks now about Dominic Mysterio turning on his father, Rey, and going out on his own. And they pulled that trigger at Clash at the Castle. Dominic would hit a low blow on Edge, basically kicking him in the nuts. And yes, I'm allowed to say it because it's my channel. I'll say it, kicking him in the nuts. And then when it looked like Ray was calming Dominic down, Dominic then turned on his father and clotheslined him down, much to the delight of the members of the Judgment Day. Now, what this leads me to believe is, what are they going to be doing with Dominic? Is he going to be joining the Judgment Day? You know, where are they taking his character? Where are they taking this gimmick? Because it's very evident that there's going to be a father-son rivalry now between Ray and Dominic, where Dominic feels like he's been held down by his father and he wants to branch out on his own. I'm assuming that's what's going to be the case because I've seen it many times throughout wrestling the past 30 years. So if they go that route, it'd be interesting to see how they do it and how it's executed. I think that's the key thing, is how it's executed that will make the story work. Right now, they've already got a good start with it, with Dominic turning on his father and Edge. And now it's going to be very interesting to see what the follow-up is going to be Monday night on Raw. Up next, we had Riddle and Seth freaking Rollins. Now, as of late, WWE, under Vince McMahon, have never really had a very personal, heated rivalry between anyone. I mean, it's always been professional. It's always been, like, promo, and stuff like that. However, this thing with Riddle and Seth freaking Rollins over the past few weeks have just become so insanely personal that it really adds to the fire element in the match, if you kind of get what I'm saying. And they really poured gasoline on that fire Monday night when, after they did that little interview, that they actually referenced, and I'm talking about Rollins, the whole situation with Riddle and his wife and his kids. Now, you would think normally that would be kind of taboo. But the way they executed it, the way that they played it up, it fit perfectly in the rivalry. It added to the match drama. It added to the storyline drama, which was perfect for what they were doing here at Clash at the Castle. Now, this was supposed to happen previously at SummerSlam, but as you guys remember, Riddle was not quote-unquote medically cleared by WWE to actually work the match, even though he was apparently good enough to take a couple of bumps from Rollins, including another stomp. Now, like I said, Gunther and Sheamus was hard-hitting. So was this match. So was Riddle and Rollins. I mean, it was all over the place. We've seen Rollins use the pedigree. We've seen the Bro Derek. Rollins using the Bro Derek against Riddle. We've seen Riddle using the floating bro on the outside. He tried to use the floating bro again in the ring. He would end up eating the knees of Rollins for the counter. Now, Riddle a chair would come into play thanks to Riddle. And because of that, it kind of gave Rollins an advantage because he was going to strike Rollins with the chair while he was laid prone on the announcer's table. But then, as he would go back into the ring, Rollins was already there. He would hit the stomp. Now, you would think that would be enough, but apparently it was not enough because for the first time, because I can't think of anybody else who's done this, Rollins ascends to the middle rope and then hits an elevated stomp on Riddle as Rollins picks up the win. And last thing I want to say about this, why the hell did Rollins look like he stole an outfit out of Elton John's closet? What the hell was he wearing? That's all I want to say about that. It's just, what the hell was Rollins wearing? Finally, the main event for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Hats off to WWE for the Broken Dreams entrance for McIntyre, especially in Cardiff, Wales. You know, I haven't seen it for the longest time. And I love the fact that he included a lot of his clips from when he was the Chosen One in that little montage, and then he kind of ended with what McIntyre looks like today. Now, two things I want to bring up. One, Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux were in attendance, and I thought Karrion Kross was anti-vax, and because he was anti-vax, I didn't think he would be allowed into the country. But shows how much I know. But they would play just a little bit of a pivotal part, not really too much of anything, especially when the match goes to the outside for the first time. Kross apparently throws a water bottle at McIntyre. At first I thought it was like some random fan, but apparently it was Kross who did it, which distracted McIntyre, allowing Roman Reigns to get back on top. Now, I keep saying this, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it now. When is a finisher not a finisher? The reason I say that is, how many times did we see the spear? How many times did we see the Claymore? And both men kicked out of those finishers. Maybe I'm a little stickler for tradition. Like when you hit your finisher, boom, it's a finish, match is over, you win. We don't see that much now in wrestling today. I don't know why, but to me, it just takes away from that finisher being a finisher. I mean, we've seen Reigns utilize the guillotine multiple times. McIntyre got out of that. Reigns hit the Superman punch. McIntyre kicked out of that. McIntyre would hit the Glasgow Kiss. He's hit a Claymore. You think that would have been enough? But nope. Reigns kicks out. And it came down to a couple of things. One thing I want to note is Austin Theory tried to cash in his Money in the Bank contract until he met the fist of Tyson Fury. So that was pretty much snuffed out. However, there was another trigger that I've always wondered, when are WWE going to pull the trigger on this guy? And they did it again. There's a lot of people have been wondering, when is Solo Sikoa going to the main roster to join the Bloodline? And the answer was, at Clash at the Castle. Reigns did not have Paul Heyman or the Usos at ringside. It was all by himself. McIntyre would once again hit the Claymore, but as soon as the referee tried to go for the pin, somebody pulled him out of the ring, and that man was revealed to be Solo Sikoa. And then off of the distraction, Reigns would hit the spear on McIntyre as Reigns retains the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Now, I like how after the match, they allowed McIntyre and apparently Tyson Fury to say some few words. Why it became karaoke at the castle, I never know. It's just something that actually happened. And what's about to happen now is my overall score and thoughts. Overall, ever since, like I said at the beginning of the review, ever since Vince McMahon has stepped down and Triple H has become head of creative in WWE, the product is becoming watchable. It's becoming enjoyable. We're hearing commentary the way commentary should be done. You guys know I'm a kind of stickler for good commentary. I love the fact that they're allowed to bring emotion. When you bring the emotion, you bring the energy into your commentary, you allow us, the fans, the people who watch it, to feel the energy, to feel the drama and the climax of the match. And I love the fact that they're actually calling the moves, they're allowing them to show emotion, and they're allowing them to bring energy into their commentary. That is something I truly enjoy and truly respect. They have really stepped up on a lot of their matches. I gotta say, if I were to pick the worst match of the night, I have to go to the Smackdown Women's Championship match. Because it felt like we were coming off of a good high with Bianca, Belair, Asuka, and Alexa versus Damage Control, and Gunther and Sheamus. And the Smackdown Women's Championship match, to me, just kind of felt like, to me, from my perspective, halted everything. Now, was it a bad match per se? It wasn't terrible. But compared to everything else we saw tonight, I'll say tonight, but for us it's the afternoon, but in the UK it's night. Everything we saw at Clash at the Castle is what I should say. Everything else, every other match just kind of like outshined Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler. Best match of the night, I'm gonna say it's a 3-way tie or 4-way, 5-way tie for the other matches. Because I thought Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa versus Damage Control was not only good, but it did what it needed to do, and that was to establish Bayley's group as a faction, and not only that, but further solidified the storyline of her and Bianca for the Raw Women's Championship. Gunther and Sheamus, sometimes I just like to sit back and watch a good hard-hitting match, and that's what we had here. Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day. Again, great match here, and then they finally pulled the trigger on Dominic, which now leaves me wondering, where are they going next with his character? Riddle and Seth freaking Rollins, again, told a great story. It was an amazing match. And Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre delivered. That's all I can say. They delivered. So my overall score on Clash at the Castle, and I haven't said this for a WWE show in a long time, gets a 4 out of 5. Now, what I want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on WWE's Clash at the Castle. I definitely want to know what you guys have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, be sure you slam that like button. Like a champ, be sure you follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/WrestleGamer whenever you can catch me live, where you can also try to scare me. I don't know why you guys would try to scare me. You know, they say I have something of an epic girly scream. Jazzy, I blame you for that. Hashtag content. But be sure you follow me on Twitch so that you can hang out with me live whenever I'm gaming or even reacting to wrestling. And also, guys, if you want to see more of WrestleDOWN right here on WGS-TV, you know there are 2 ways you got to do it. You got to link up the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications so that you guys will never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood wrestling gamer, reminding all of you guys out there to just stay awesome. Bye, guys!